All right. Oh, your mics. Where are your mics? Oh my gosh, sorry. Mics. All of them. All of them. We need all four.
Let's go.
Yeah. Sorry.
Here you go.
Thank you.
All right. Check if we can hear you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
1, 2, and 2.
Hello.
All right, great. All right, so I want to start off by inviting all of you to just quickly intro who you are, what has been your experience, and if you have anything relating to the topic of funding gap for female-funded startups, you can mention that already here in the introduction. So how about we start from this side?
Okay,
Anna.
perfect. Yeah, so I'm Anna. I'm currently a VC investor and CMO with Kaya VC, but I went to the dark side, first being a founder, then a journalist. So I sort of went through the whole startup ecosystem. And while being also an operator within the startup ecosystem, I realized that, there is a gap. And that was one of the reasons why I was really excited about Included VC and decided to join the other side.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mari Lukkanen. I'm from Icebreaker VC. I'm head of growth and investor, so I help portfolio companies in growth stuff and invest. I also came from other side to dark side, so my history is in startups and affiliate marketing. I started originally 20 years ago in affiliate marketing, so I have quite long history being a female in tech industry, and then in startups, head of marketing, head of growth, and so on. Have been facing situations at only female member of the team and so on. So very familiar with issues and trying to fix it from inside nowadays.
Thank you. Deborah.
Hi guys, so my name is Deborah Loye, I'm from France. I'm the CEO of SISTA. SISTA is an organization that aims at reducing the funding gap between male and female entrepreneurs. I'm also an ex-journalist. I covered the tech and startup ecosystem at Les Echos, which is basically the French Financial Times. So that's basically how I got into the industry and realized that it was very male-driven. So back then I tried to push more women to be interviewed and on the pictures in the newspaper and so on, and then I changed to really go on the ground to fight that battle with a sister.
Perfect. Hi everyone, my name is Diāna. I am right now as BizOps and Finance Lead at Whimsical. I've spent last 5 years in venture capital. I'm not sure which is the dark side or light side. I think they're both pretty light and dark at the same time. But so I spent 5 years in VC, in Overkill Ventures and in Super Angel. I've had my share with underrepresented founders. A small note maybe from my personal side. I think diversity is also important to kind of mention the kind of underrepresented founders. It's not only women, it's also communities that are underrepresented because of race, because of gender, of course, and different other factors. So I'd like to maybe shed light on this, that it's not only about women, it's about people who maybe are not represented in the community. And yeah, happy to kick off the discussion. Hopefully we have some good learnings along the way.
Thank you. From my side, just for all of you to know as well, so I run Riga TechGirls now, but I've been co-founder of 2 startups myself and raised funding. And in my case, we had a really good experience, so that we managed to fundraise, and we got our first investors from Finland. So I have very warm feelings towards Finland and the Finnish culture and Finnish investors. The reason why actually I wanted to start Riga TechGirls was because I felt so lonely as a female founder and the only mom startup founder in Latvia at that time. So and this is where it has come to. So we've grown a community here, and right now I think it's really important to also focus on this funding gap and talking about because finance is the bloodstream of the development of the companies, right? So we need to get funding. And we're talking here about, so there are so few female founders, like 6%, 9%, depending on the country, it's a bit different, but it's really low percentages. It's really a minority. So what can we do to kind of increase this number? And financing, availability of financing would definitely help. So maybe you can share your experiences on what are the things that you have seen that are being done, and what is maybe one of the biggest challenges that you have noticed in this question. So who wants to go first? Diāna?
Yeah, love to. All right, so I'm a big believer in healthy kind of financial markets, if you can say so. And I think when it comes to funding, it's very important to have it in a natural and healthy way. Basically, investing is a lot about pattern recognition, and historically, most of wealth has been kind of amassed with groups of people that are not very diverse. So with every coming year, that is changing, and only with that we can see the change of people investing in more diverse groups. So I think that kind of the key thing is for women and for underrepresented folks who maybe don't have a lot of historic capital is to join startups or companies where you have a potential upside, i.e. stock options, eventually get wealthy and then invest in other founders like you. It takes 10 or 15 years, no shortcuts there, but that's essentially the way how you can kind of keep on fixing the system. There's no really like a silver bullet we can do like in a year or two. So that's kind of a long-term perspective of kind of how we can change financing gap in over the long run. And we've seen happening in the US in different markets. But definitely, this is not maybe something that we should take away from this discussion. Hopefully there are some shortcuts as well that we can take, and I'm happy to kind of listen to those from fellow panelists.
Yeah, maybe one of you has also a comment on what Diāna just said.
Yeah, actually I do. I would say, I would actually add to this. Yeah, there is no silver bullet. Now we are seeing more and more females and also other people from underrepresented communities joining venture capital funds. But obviously, as you join, you start from the ground up. And that means time till those people, like me, get to the partner's position and start actually being the decision makers. So then, you know, the decision maker usually makes the decision about who gets money. So.
Yeah, but this is super interesting. I mean, we have numbers about France. So we know that 35% of investment teams in France are female, but half of the major funds don't have any female partner. Okay. So I mean, there's a huge glass ceilings in VC funds today for women, and I mean the numbers just speak by themselves, you know. And I think this is something we really need to fight for, because as long as you said, you're not the decision maker, you can't really make a change. And I think that VCs are right now kind of hiding behind hiring analysts and people like that. But I see a lot of women leaving VC because they just can't get up the ladder. They just can't get a partner role, and they end up leaving and going to work at a startup or anything because it's not a female-friendly environment yet.
Very quickly to add, it's actually, again, it might be also a question of wealth, because oftentimes as a partner you have to also commit a larger financial ticket, which oftentimes is not available to women, like a spare, I don't know, 5 to 10 million to invest in a fund. So again, this is, I mean, it's definitely not the only issue, but it's coming to this financial question. How do we make women rich? And that's the way how we can drive this conversation forward.
Yeah, we should work with public policies on that, I think, on making
I can comment a little bit about our experience. Last year we doubled down our female founding teams at Icebreaker, and one decision that led to that was fund more female founded teams. So basically, and that is the decision that the male partners can do as well, and something to encourage VCs to do. I think it's only decision thing. To decide it, because when you decide it, then you start to look for female-founded teams also. I think it's double-side problem. One side is the VCs that are just full of male founding founding partners and male-founded teams. So it's a little bit intimidating for female founders to apply for funding for that kind of parties, but. Also from my experience as a female founder, like I have been the person that was let out from founders and investors sauna evening because I was the only female. So I kind of know also that like I don't even want to apply funding if the VC looks like that basically. So but you can still fix that by outreaching the female team, speaking about this thing, taking active role in as an opinion leader in this thing, even you are a male partner or male VC. So making that decision, I think it's one of the most important things. And also by discussing about that in your fund, then you also raise the awareness for this male founding teams that they can take the proactive role in finding the late female founding, like a late partner of the team, or hiring more, like building diverse pipeline, because they will have the same issue of very male dominant pipeline if they don't take the active role on fixing that very early stage. But in early stage you can still fix that. So if you even you have all male team, you can take the proactive role of finding the female members and fixing that issue for the future.
Have you noticed, so when we talk about this very early stage and early stage startups who apply for the seed and pre-seed funding, have you noticed what is the demographic there in the applications, like from your experience? The percentages, numbers of female-funded startups in the very early stage?
So, I mean, again, I have numbers for France, but they basically are the same around Europe. So we know that in 2021, 24% of startups created in France were created with at least one female founder.
24%?
24%.
Okay.
So it's not bad. But we know that 88% of funds were still directed towards male-only funded companies.
Yeah, I think like an anecdotal example is that there are more CEOs in the world named John than there are female CEOs. But that's just an anecdote there. As for numbers from personal experience, I think it's interesting that I think from the startups I've seen, it's like 1 in 10 startups probably is female founded, or at least a woman or an underrepresented founder is in the founding team. But it's very rare to see like both co-founders or all co-founders to be women, and like as you typically see with male-founded startups, that all of the guys are just guys. But it's definitely not the case, and at least they don't even. I haven't seen very rare examples. I have seen.
Last time we checked, we had 15% female assumed first name, so very small percentage. But I think it's also like. Can female founders see themselves as a tech founder? They could have a tech team or tech company, but they still don't kind of like think that it's tech because it's not AI, or it's not quantum technology or something. But if it's like, let's say, my last startup was a home cleaning startup, which was tech company. Even we did home cleaning as well, because all the like management of the system, so it's eventually tech company. But like it's also like, does the female founder like categorize themselves as a tech founder? So if the tech fund is talking about tech companies, the female founder can have a tech company, but they don't kind of like categorize themselves as a tech founder anyway.
All right. Okay. Anna, what's
your...
your...
Actually, I think that we all need to start somewhere. And looking at our portfolio, now we're investing out of our 4th fund, and we have quite a decent number, especially for CE, of female founders and founders of color. And when we look at our previous funds, it wasn't so. And quite a lot of deal flow comes from the ecosystem and recommendations from our current founders, and also from basically a female talent partner and myself. But as the whole team grows in understanding how much of unfair advantage it is to actually tap into this amazing potential, we're seeing definitely more diversified deal flow. And that, in effect, leads into more positive decisions on investments.
A little bit earlier today, we were having a fireside chat here with Deborah as well, and one of the conclusions, or kind of one of the points that we brought out, was the invitation to male founders to look for a female co-founder whenever they are looking for co-founders. So that is something that I hear as well from what you are saying. And we were also thinking, but this is when we look from the founder's side, right? So there's two sides. There's founder's side and there's an investor's side. And then there's also kind of the female side and the male side. There was this one suggestion, so male founders look for female co-founder. What else can the male counterparts hear from the investor side, from the founder side? What can they do to encourage more women to come up? And here as well, kind of this, I like this idea of like those who already got funding, promote your fellow female-funded startup founders. That is another point. Is there anything else that you have in mind?
We were talking about branding. I was talking with a VC a few weeks ago, and he told me, yeah, we have tons of female founders in our portfolio, and I went to their website and I only saw male faces. And I was like, guys, you are doing great. They had like 30% female, which is huge in Europe. They were doing great, and they were not showing the women. And I was like, this is a major problem, because then women are not going to be, willing to come to your fund to get the money. So I think communication, if it's a real thing, if you're communicating on a real thing, then show it, but also really give money to the woman. I think we are in Europe, we're getting a little sick and tired on a lot of people communicating on the issue, a lot of people, telling they want to be diversified, blah, 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 but not actually investing in women. Like, invest in women. You want to do something, target your money towards women founders.
Yeah, I can totally agree to that. And I think just one thing maybe to add is that in diversity discussions, there are often this term ally, which is basically like an ally in the firm who can kind of, a male partner who is calling out bullshit on all this diversity talk and no action. And I think that's kind of the thing. We have to enable this mindset of being an ally to women, to underrepresented founders, to actually kind of make this change, because that's essentially what we need. We need to we are not against each other. We are on the same front. We want to build a wealthier, happier society over time. We're all in this together, and we need like all VC partners to kind of acknowledge that. By bringing more diversity into their firms, that's the way to go. So kind of if you are in a position where you are the only male kind of board member, you are only board members consisting of males and things like that, you have to call this out. You have to be this ally for underrepresented communities. No one else can do it if it's just a room of 40 white guys. And I think what's interesting with these boards is that you're so much overpaying these boards, because it's essentially the same viewpoint that you get for an underrepresented group. So it's actually a question of economics. How do you invest your resources by kind of paying the staff who is diverse, because that's the way how you can diversify the outcomes in the decisions that are made.
Mm-hmm. Anything you want to add, Diāna?
Branding definitely. A couple of examples from us. We started to get more female founding team applications by changing our website color from black to lighter. We started to get more female applicants to our investment associate position when we changed our principal, who is male, face to me on the job ad. It was 98% white male finance guys who applied to that job, and it was with 50-50 when me was the kind of the person you are sending the application to. So branding, definitely colors, wording, but it's going to be very biased if everyone who is building that brand and communication are male in founding teams also, but also the VC.
Yeah, I must say that it definitely played a part with Kaya, because we changed, we rebranded pretty much completely to become more approachable. And yeah, colors, photographs of founders actually, but also really straightforward communication, even though it has storytelling, but it speaks to everyone, not just to a very narrow group of people. One thing that I wanted to add on how we can actually improve and it wouldn't be another silver bullet, unfortunately. But being in VC and investing in female founders that overperform, it means that if investors start doing this, over time, there will be proof that it's actually worth spending time on this diverse deal flow.
Statistically, if we look at the return on investment, then there is statistics that tell us that the companies that have more diverse boards and more diverse leadership have better return on investment. So that's just something that really is out there as a fact. All right, so we've come to a conclusion. Maybe you have any closing remarks that you want to say about this topic? We can just go one by one. Maybe like kind of having this a little bit encouraging atmosphere and giving something, because I love what Deborah you said, just give the money to the women. Okay, that's one statement that I'm taking away from this. Anything you want to kind of wrap up with? Who wants to go first?
I'm pretty optimistic because I think if we all have the willingness, I mean, one thing is women are here in tech today, okay? You cannot say it's a deal flow problem anymore. I mean, 24% of companies co-founded by at least one woman. It's not a problem of deal flow anymore. The deal flow is there, women are there. So make sure you welcome them in a good way. Make sure everyone in your team is trained to be sure that women are welcome when they meet with them, and I'm sure that together we can change the tech world, and pretty fast.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think if you are a woman who is in a position to inspire younger girls and women, just be the role model. It's, I think, the single key thing what to do, how to inspire a younger generation, is just being out there talking about these things that we're doing here. It's maybe that doesn't sound very actionable at first, but it's actually very critical that we have these positive role models, and young girls and underrepresented folks all over the globe have seen that you can make it, and you can make it from anywhere. And I do believe that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Diāna. Mari?
Couple of points. Like first of all, you need to take action, because companies founded by female founders or have some female founding member or female leadership team members get better up rounds. Our biggest up round seed 8 million is for Single Earth, who was one presenter here in this event and has a very strong, amazing female CEO. So definitely role models, very important. Also this I believe also that women women are in tech, right? But there is also a lot of these non-tech roles in tech companies where women can be very beneficial. I also run this growth hacking internship program where I have trained now 93 immigrant women who didn't believe that they have any future in tech, but they turn to be amazing because they are usually the first English-speaking member in our Finnish engineer-founded company, who also takes the responsibility of go-to-market of the company and brings the diversity and English-speaking in that company. And that has played a major role in some of the key go-to-markets. So definitely for non-tech female also you should look into.
Okay, thank you, Mari. Anna?
It's actually a great time. The FOMO is getting real when we look at founders of the likes of Canva, for example. But actually there are many examples, and VCs also see that. So if you are a female founder, well, hell, you're actually a founder, and you actually have a really good chance to go out there and fundraise. So yeah, time is now.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Mari.
Thank
you, Deborah. Thank you, Diāna. And wish you all a wonderful rest of the conference. And we'll be wrapping up this discussion.
Thank you, girls. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.